Hi everyone, time for another video about A Course in Miracles, or better, about your awakening, right? Because however you choose, whatever tool or whatever um, application you use, right, to speed up your awakening, um, there's finally only one universal course, right? So the lesson for today in the Course in Miracles is I bless the world because I bless myself, which is a review lesson. But if you look at the full lesson, which is 187 in our workbook, it's an amazing lesson. Because really, what he truly says here is in order to keep it, you have to give it away. Um, it says, no one can give unless he has. In fact, giving is proof of having. It's true. Um, you cannot heal if you're not healed, right? You cannot give salvation if you're not saved. You cannot give happiness if you're not happy. You first have to have it yourself. You cannot give what you do not have, right? You can fake it until you make it, but eventually this has to be true for yourself, otherwise what's the point, right? You're the one looking for happiness, you're the one looking for freedom, correct? So it's so beautiful. So he says this is having and giving are the same, right? So one of the few lessons where he says in the Course of Miracles, you can only give to yourself, right? Giving and receiving are one, right? Because remember that the world of separate objects, the world of separation is not real, right? None of this is so. There's only one of you, right? There's only you. All the images out there are you. So when you're giving to yourself. This is why you feel happy if you make someone happy. Yeah, if you help someone out, you feel better about yourself. Why is that? You just gave to yourself. You didn't give to someone else, right? You immediately receive the benefit from that. When another lesson is when I'm healed, I'm not healed alone, right? Healing cannot be limited to just one person, because healing is the idea that you are whole, right? Minds are joined. There's only one mind, right? So if one mind is healed, everyone else is healed along with it. It cannot not, right? I was reading just beautiful, and he addresses this very nicely. Deepak Chopra in Quantum Healing, which is one of his earlier books, and I think he updated it recently. But he calls it quantum healing because what he discovered as a doctor is that healing often occurs in quantum leaps, right? Like someone has cancer and then suddenly has what they call spontaneous remission, right? And um, they can't explain it, so most doctors rather get rid of it. They just not interested in that because what they can't explain, that that frustrates them. But that kind of healing, that quantum healing, that instantaneous healing, that's true healing. Why is it true healing? Because in truth you are already healed and whole, right? This is the entire lesson you learn in your awakening, in your spiritual transformation, that you are whole and perfect, that your true self is already that, right? I'm I'm still as God created me, right? God created you whole and perfect, unlimited, all powerful, right? The limitations that you put in yourself because of the denial of who you are not true. So sickness is simply the idea that you denied your own self identity, and as you accept that, you are healed. It's just an acceptance, it's just a reaffirmation of what's already so. That's why healing is the easiest thing in the world, but also the hardest if you are insistent on holding on to your self identity, right? If you hold on to the tension of self identity, right? If you deny who you are, if you keep on denying the truth and defending yourself against it, that's what sickness is. Whether that actually, manifests itself as a sickness in the body is completely irrelevant finally. It's finally at that point the mind that's sick. And the correction needs to happen right there, isn't it? We call that the miracle, hence A Course in Miracles. But that's where healing occurs, right? It's the acceptance of what is already so. Right? In this lesson, I bless the world because I bless myself. Um, he's talking about protect all things you value by the act of giving them away, and you are sure that you will never lose them. Now, and then he goes into great length to show you that because he knows there's a fear of giving your possessions away. Huh? The mind that's possessed by its own thought forms, because everything around you are forms of thought. They're thought forms, right? They're your thoughts having taken form and now represent separate objects from you. But truly, they're just your thoughts, right? And you're afraid you're going to lose them. But they're your thoughts. How can you possibly lose your thoughts, right? It makes no sense. The fact of the matter is, you want to give everything away in order to keep it. In order to keep happiness, give happiness away. In order to keep freedom, give it away. Give yourself away. Give what is truly valuable, that what's given to you as your natural inheritance. Give it away, right? Why do many of us teach this? Because we keep it if we give it away. If you give an idea away, you strengthen it. You don't lose anything. And here it's reduced to giving a physical object away, and then seems like you're losing something. And none of that makes any sense. And there's always a fear associated with that. There's a fear of giving, right? There's a fear of losing. Okay, that's that. I tell you one thing, and I know many of you out there have experienced this. If you truly give, right? If you're not afraid to give anything away, it's always because you're ecstatically happy and free. If you are free within yourself, you have no problem of giving anything away, even if it's a physical object. You know this. You're completely not concerned about it. You're absolutely free. You know that that's not going to, holding on to that is not going to save you. So giving an idea away strengthens it. I love that. Let's see what else. Give gladly, you can only gain thereby. The thought remains and grows in strength as it is reinforced by giving, right? Thoughts extend as they are shared, for they cannot be lost. I love that, right? What we're doing right here, right now, is exchange ideas, exchange thoughts, right? In doing so, we strengthen it, right? So I'm giving here the thought of freedom, salvation, happiness. And as a result, we both get happy because, well, you know, if you're accepting it, right? I love it. It says there is no giver and receiver in the sense that the world conceives of him. There is a giver who retains, another who will give as well. And both must gain in this exchange, for each will have the thought in form most helpful to him. What he seems to lose is always something he'll value less than what will surely be returned to him. I love that. Right? Finally, you have to understand that everything is an idea, right? Everything is an idea. Now, I know this is a lesson in our workbook, but this is just true, the true nature of reality, that your mind has thoughts, right? Ideas. Everything is an idea. Everything you see around you is an idea, right? Often you don't recognize it as such, but it's an idea, right? So this is so fundamental in our mind training. He says, never forget you give but to yourself. Who understands what giving means must laugh at the idea of sacrifice. Nor can he fail to recognize that many forms which sacrifice may take. He laughs as well at pain and loss, at sickness and at grief, at poverty, starvation and at death. He recognizes sacrifice remains the one idea that stands behind them all. And in his gentle laughter are they healed. I did a video this morning on TikTok, and just a short one, just spontaneously. And the video was about the idea that you finally start laughing at your own misery, right? Because listen, if you're suffering, whether it's a sickness or whether it's depression or whether it's pain or regardless of this form of suffering, right? You're not happy, you're struggling, It's not fun, right? When you're in fear, when you're in anger, you're not laughing. It's real to you, right? It's absolutely real, and you're not laughing because there's nothing fun about that. That's a good starting point, right? You have to admit for a moment where you are. And then you apply these lessons and you remember, yeah, but wait a minute, none of this is so. I'm whole and perfect as my Father created me. Going back to how we started today. I'm whole and perfect as my Father created me. None of this is so. This is a dream. Nothing can make me suffer. Nothing can affect me but my own thoughts. Nothing is making me feel this way. This is not so. And as you practice that very often, and hopefully, you'll start to laugh at the insanity that you thought you could suffer in any regard. Right? In other words, the reality of it starts to fade away. And in that laughter, you're literally healed. It no longer is a serious idea. And this is a very, very true experience. I'm always reminded by how he describes in the Course in Miracles how this all started. Because he says, into eternity, where all is one, there crept a tiny, mad idea at which the Son of God forgot or remembered not to laugh. And in his forgetting, it became a serious idea. This became a serious idea to you for a moment. You forgot to laugh. You remembered not to laugh, right? And it became serious. And now you had to deal with the seriousness and the gravity of the situation. And you're suffering and you're going through life suffering. And look at me. I'm sick. Look at me. I'm depressed. Look at me. I'm fearful. And it becomes serious. And you're trying to fight it and nothing is working. But you forgot to laugh, right? You forgot for a moment that none of this is real, that your true nature cannot be affected by this at all. Reality is not affected by any of your illusions, by any of this dream. As you let that sink in, as you realize that for a moment, and you start to laugh, what happens? Healing starts to occur. For one moment, it no longer is a serious idea. Right? Now you can start to laugh a little bit about the idea. Let it go. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real. That's healing. Your acceptance of yourself as whole. None of this is so. It's of your own making. It does not exist. Don't try to fight it. Don't try to correct it. It's a realization. What I truly am is not affected by this. Right? I can start laughing about this. And in your laughter, you're healed. That's a true experience. An absolute true experience. Whatever you think you're suffering from, that shift in mindset, that's what we're looking for. It's a practice. Sure. Beautiful. Read this lesson today. Here's another part. Illusion recognized must disappear. That's what I just said. That's a better way of expressing it, right? Illusions recognized must disappear. Once you recognize it for what it must disappear because you're no longer deceived by it. That's a way shorter and better way as I was just trying to express it. Accept not suffering, and you remove the thought of suffering. Your blessing lies on everyone who suffers, when you choose to see all suffering as what it is. The thought of sacrifice gives rise to all the forms that suffering appears to take, and sacrifice is an idea so mad that sanity dismisses it at once. So, I hope this is helpful, right? Start laughing. Start laughing at the ridiculous idea that you could be healed, that you could be sick, that you could be depressed, that you could be fearful, that you could be angry, that you could be without hope. Whatever form your suffering takes, start laughing at it. It's not real. Start remembering that you are whole and perfect. How can the Son of God suffer? Only in dreams. But it's a dream. It's not real, right? You can change your mind. It's a willingness, right? If you are not willing to change your mind, or if what I'm saying makes no sense to you, and you are hell bent on making this real for you, then there's nothing I can do, because you can do that, right? That's your free will. What I'm telling you is this world is not real. It has no reality. You cannot suffer. You cannot suffer pain or loss. You're whole and perfect, and none of this is so. I hope that was helpful. Truly, truly, all we're doing is getting together for a moment and healing each other, right? I heal you, you heal me. It's that simple. Healing is always mutual. So, I hope that was acceptable, right? I hope when you watch these videos that you're not offended. Um, because truly, the only purpose of these videos is healing. And healing is always of the mind. It always is, right? And healing, despite what this world tells you, is the most easiest thing, and the easiest thing in the world, and the only natural thing in the world. He somewhere says it like, why is healing easy? Because it's the only natural thing in the world, right? I love you. Have a great, great day wherever, whenever you are. And I'll see you everywhere.